Welcome all wrists and welcome to another unboxing. Let's take a quick 360 of the box. It's a very simple box, rectangular shape, cardboard, but it actually feels quite substantial and sturdy. Now I like this layout on the front they have here. You get a nice little preview of what the actual watch will look like. It's a Junghans. Now the colors may seem a little weird at first, but when we open her up, it'll make a whole lot more sense. So let's open her up and we can see the watch here. So it's got this little protector where you can lay it down flat so the strap doesn't get all bent and curved. Now, if we take a look at the actual watch and the box itself, so if I put the lid back on, here's what it's trying to look like. It looks like the strap. And how cool is that? I actually like this little detail. And if you can see there, the front of the box, there's the dial. Matches well. It's a nice little preview of what you're getting inside. Now you can see that color on the top there, that black edge and the orange bottom. All right, we'll put the watch here for now and we'll get to the insides of the box. So again, here's that protector. It's very soft, kind of gives me like this carpet feeling, but it's like a felt material just to protect your watch in, and it has those little slots there to slide in your strap. Okay, we get our tag, a nice little microfiber cloth. I like to see these Junghans. We get our paperwork. So very simple, nothing too fancy. It's very minimalistic, which I kind of like, suits the tone or the theme of the watch itself. All right, we'll put the box to the side and we'll get to the watch. This is the Junghans Max Bill Edition 60, and what drew me to this watch is the subtle addition of orange. Now, as you can see, this is a very clean and classic look, a white dial, very simple printing, but that small addition of orange really gives it a pop of color, adds a lot of interest and character to an otherwise unassuming watch. Now, you can see here the printing is very crispy, and there's not really a lot going on here, but if you look, you can find little details that really keep you staring at the watch. If we look at the 3, 6, 9, and 12, that's where we'll find the lume. But what's interesting about this is the lume on 3, 6, and 9, it's kind of like integrated into the printed indices there. You can see those circular lume plots. But when you come to the 12 at 60, you will see that inside the 6 and the 0 are where you'll find the lume plots. And that's such a small detail, but it's such a cool little detail that I appreciate a lot. And the minute track there, you'll see it's done in this grave fashion. So when you're looking at it maybe from afar, they're not as noticeable as, you know, the black printed indices, which I actually like because it gives it more of that minimalistic look. The minute track kind of fades away, but you can still see it, still legible. The hands polished, very thin and slim. Just everything seems to work so well on this style, and the Junghans font is fantastic as well. It just works with everything on the dial. Another interesting thing about this watch is the case. Now, the case here, it is black. It's not that typical silver color from stainless steel. This is PVD coated black, but it's polished. And while I'm typically not a fan of black cases, this one here, it actually surprised me. It looks really good. Now, one thing I think attributed to that is, look at the dial. It takes pretty much the whole case, so you don't really notice the case that much. It's a very slim border that you see when you're looking at the watch, so the case doesn't play as much of a role as the dial. But what I like about this is the architecture of the actual watch. Look at this. So when you take a side profile shot, you really get a sense of how that crystal and case play together. You get this like kind of like this a puck like look. It's very curvy, very circular. It's a very strange sensation when you are looking at it in person, because in product shots you won't really get to see the full magnitude of the effect of its architecture. It's really quite interesting. Now you can kind of see here from this angle how the crystal distorts the dial very nicely, giving it like a curve, and it just looks very interesting when you're getting it. It's not like a flat circle. It has a lot of structure to it, and if you look at the lugs, you can kind of see how the lugs are more towards the bottom side of the case there. And what that does is the strap, it allows it to sit a lot closer to the case to eliminate like a large gap, which I really like. Because if you look at that, look at the strap there. It's kind of giving me like a NATO strap vibe, where you don't really see the gaps between the strap and the actual case, giving it a very clean look. And I think that helps to also just emphasize the whole dial, which is what this whole watch is about. It's really about the dial. They place a lot of emphasis on it, and I think it just looks really good. Now, the strap itself is this very interesting color. It's very hard to describe. Maybe like a light pistachio, a grayish pistachio or washed out khaki color. We get black edging there, and of course the orange underside to match with the orange on the dial. Now the strap feels very nice. It's very soft, 20mm lug spacing. The buckle matches the case. You get Junghans there as well, which is nice to see. So you won't worry about a mismatched buckle. On the case back, a nice nod to edition 60, Max Bill there. Now this is a sapphire as well, so it's always nice to have. So you won't be scratching that massive crystal, so it will keep looking pristine, and you would want it looking pristine. I mean, check that out. The side profile shot is probably my favorite aspect about this watch. The crown is nice and small, keeping in line with the whole theme of the watch. But there is one thing I want to highlight. The size of it being so small, it can be a little difficult to grip, and therefore making the winding experience not that great. It does feel stiff to wind, but really it's not that big of an issue because this is an automatic watch, so it will charge while you're wearing it. Here's the Lume. Now I have my lights off, but I do have a little bit of sunlight trickling through some blinds, so it's not a completely dark room, but you can kind of get a sense of how that Lume will function. Now it's not that bright, honestly, and you won't find a lot of Lume on this dial. It's just at those 3, 6, 9 and 12 markers, but it's not a watch I expect a lot of Lume on. The Lume here for me is more of an aesthetic choice, and I think it looks great. I like how they're just these small Lume plots integrated well into the indices. Function wise, it won't be that great. It is there, but just something to keep in mind, guys. It's not bright, but I think it works well with the dial. Here it is on wrist. Now I have about a 6.5 inch wrist for your reference. It's a very comfortable wear. The leather is soft. It curves and contours nicely with the wrist, and it's very light. Now you can see the dial there. It takes a lot of that real estate, and it really is the emphasis here. And you can see how good that orange just pops. Even from far away, you can still notice that orange. And what I was talking about earlier with the minute track kind of having that ability to fade away, you can kind of see how it's working there. It gives it more of that minimalistic look while you're still getting that minute track function when you're looking up close. Now, one thing I notice when I'm wearing this is the reduced gap from the strap and the case really allows it to further emphasize the dial, but also I think it makes it more wearable on smaller wrists because the strap starting early allows it to wrap earlier, and you can kind of see more of the strap instead of more of the case, which I kind of find is the issue for smaller wrists there. So just having that, reduced gap really overall gives it a better look and makes it just look better on the wrist, in my opinion. There it is, guys. Once I spend more time with the watch, I'll do a more in-depth review, and I can already envision this on a black leather strap because I think it'll really tie in well with the black case and really just allow that dial to pop a lot more. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.